Joining us now is Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of the great state of Vermont. Senator Sanders, thank you for your time tonight, sir, and for enduring the tiny little bit of yodeling that slipped through the censors.
Not at all. That was great.
I know that you, sir, are a co-sponsor of Senator Menendez's bill to raise the legal liability for these drilling companies. Are you surprised that it's being blocked right now? Do you have hope that it can get around this block?
Rachel, I'm in the United States Senate. Nothing surprises me. These guys talk about, you hear often, personal responsibility. They remind us about the huge deficit in national debt that we have. But when it comes to protect corporate interests, I mean, that's in fact what they do. No personal responsibility. Let the taxpayers pick up the burden. I would say, Rachel, in the midst of all of this, if there is any silver lining to this absolute horrendous environmental disaster, I hope it is that the American people in Congress understand not only that we've got to terminate offshore oil drilling, but that we have to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel into energy efficiency and sustainable energy. At the end of the day, if you do all the offshore drilling you want, in the year 2030, do you know what the savings will be on a gallon of gas? It'll be 3 cents. 3 cents. Do you think the risk is worth saving maybe 1% of what you pay for a gallon of gas? I think that is pretty crazy. Furthermore, if we move to strong CAFE standards, as we are, in the year 2016, if we go to an average of 35 miles per gallon, you know what we will save the average consumer? $1 a gallon. $1 a gallon. So I think the evidence is overwhelming that we've got to suspend any new offshore drilling, that we really have to, in a very, very bold way, move to energy efficiency, wind, solar, geothermal, biomass. We have the capability of doing it now. This is no longer a pipe dream. And if there is anything that's positive about this terrible tragedy, I hope that the American people wake up, Congress wakes up, and we move in that direction.
Well, politically, this bill is unfolding right now as Democrats are trying to move this climate change bill through the Senate. Do you think this disaster makes it less likely that a climate bill passes this year? I mean, the fly in the ointment here is that the political calculus was made to include an expansion of subsidies for offshore oil drilling in order to hopefully buy votes to pass that bill.
And subsidies for coal, and subsidies for nuclear, and nowhere near enough money for energy efficiency and sustainable energy. Whether or not we even get to a global warming bill remains to be seen. The agenda is very tight. Whether or not there will be 60 votes to pass anything of significance remains to be seen. But I would hope that this tragedy would remind every member of the U.S. Senate that subsidizing offshore drilling makes no sense at all.
Do you think it's possible to hive off the sustainable energy elements of that climate change bill, to separate them out from the subsidies for the types of technologies you just described, offshore drilling, nuclear, coal, to just take the clean energy elements of that and pass them alone without those subsidies for those dirtier industries?
Well, the problem that you have is at one point or another, you are going to need a cap on carbon. You're going to have a price on carbon, no question about that. But simultaneously, I think we have got to be aggressive in terms of sustainable energy. I have a bill in, for example, that would put 10 million solar rooftops up in this country in 10 years. And it is a very cost-effective approach to creating new energy.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, thank you very much for your time tonight. I know it's sometimes hard to do this late on a Friday, and I really appreciate your time, sir.
No. Well, you keep up the great work, Rachel.
Thanks, Bernie. Nice to see you.